video we're going to be talking about today is going to be about one of the most popular fandom ships in My Hero Academia. No, it's not Denki and Jiru. I do love that ship. No, it is not Bakugo and Deku. It is Deku and Ochaco Uraraka. Now, when it comes to Deku and Ochaco Uraraka together, this is a story of best friends turned relationship-wise. And I know the manga of My Hero Academia has been finished now. And a lot of people were upset with the way the manga ended, that the author had to write an extra chapter just to kind of confirm that Deku and Uraraka will kind of be together. Now, in sense this, My Hero Academia, if they had stayed with the actual ending, is the only manga that I've read in terms of like these type of like animes where they've implied romance between the main two, you know, like the main ship, and they've never done anything. And I think that would have been kind of disservice, because everything that Ochaco and Deku have been through together, it would have been completely wrong for them to not have been completely shown as a couple. Because I think in My Hero Academia, by the end of the manga, only 2 couples are actually technically confirmed, and I think one is from Class B. The other is like Lady Nagant, spoiler alert, and Hawks. So having Deku and Uraraka, even though they weren't the most heavily implied ship, I mean it kind of was the most heavily implied while not being, because I think Denki and Jiru were also kind of heavily implied, and that seemed like a more likelier chances to happen than Izuocha, which is the ship name for Deku and Uraraka. But the thing is, you gotta remember, like, Deku, I say Deku, the only reason Izuku Midoriya chose Deku as his hero name is because Ochaco Uraraka liked it. She literally said, I like the name Deku. It sounds cool and it's a great name for your hero. And Izuku was just like, Deku it is. And then when they're like, alright, you have to come down with the hero names, Uravni, which is what Ochaco chose, is sitting down in the chair, and then Deku, I keep saying Deku, Izuku comes up and holds up the board. It's like, Deku's gonna be my hero name. And then you see Ochaco Uraraka like brighten up and smile, like, I'm the reason he chose that name. Even though Bakugo was calling that to be mean, Ochaco was the ultimate one that said that she liked the name, and that ended up giving Deku this, you know, like, the courage to choose Deku as his hero name. And then even when he's battling against Bakugo in the first training that they had together, he said, Deku is the name of my hero. And you can see Ochaco just like, yes, okay, yes. I'm the one that caused this. I'm the one that said, like, Deku, you know, Deku's a very cute and nice hero name. And that is where it all begins. Ochaco Uraraka was the first girl that he met there. He was the first, let's not forget, when they were doing the practice exam or to get into to UA, Deku saved Uraraka and Uraraka saved Deku. So it was kind of already implied that these two were going to have something that was going to be closely knit together. And the original 3 trio was Deku, Ochaco, and Ida. And Deku and Ochaco were the ones that were spending most of the times together. Anytime they were concerned, it was mostly, you know, like with them. When they had to get their provisional license, is when it kind of like shifted. Because you can kind of see, like, Ochaco's like, she still has feelings for Deku, and she got jealous when Hatsume's boobs were on Deku, you know, like, after the explosion, when they went to go get their equipment upgraded, so she was kind of jealous there. But it's when they do the provisional license, when Uraraka's like, alright, I know I like Deku, but these feelings are holding me back. I need to get better. I need to get stronger. And so she kind of puts her feelings to the back and focuses on becoming a hero. But season number 6 is where I think it really shows Deku and Uraraka, like, these two are gonna be fucking together. Sorry, let me rephrase that. They're gonna be ending up together. Because Ochaco Uraraka, when they're going to save Deku, when they're going to fight Deku, and Deku's like, what are you all doing here? Notice the first one to speak is Ochaco. We're here because we care about you, and we're here to save you. And Uraraka was the one that was always, you know, like, worried about, you know, like, how Deku was, because she saw Deku going through all this trauma and everything, and it was just like, it was just a real nice moment that Ochaco and Deku got to share together. And let's not forget the speech. The speech that Ochaco gave was the reason that Deku was able to still be in UA after all the people were really ready to like kick him out and he was going to go back on his own. He even had a moment where he turned around and was ready to leave, and Ochaco was the one that was grabbing his hand. It's like, it's okay, we're going to protect you, we're going to be here for you. And it's just moments like these where I'm just so glad to see him, because I like moments where they show the couples together, and the main couple for this show was going to be Deku and Ochaco Raka. Let's not forget, they're showing Deku Ochaco a lot more than they did with Naruto and Hinata, and Naruto and Hinata ended up getting together. So you're telling me that Deku and Ochaco were never going to get together? That just blows my mind. And from what I've heard in the manga, or from what I've heard from some of my friends in the manga, is that when it comes to Deku and Ochaco, they're gonna have a moment together after all the fighting is done. Like all the villains have been defeated. They're gonna have a moment where they're staring down next to each other, and Ochaco's gonna feel the pain of what happened with Toga, and Deku's gonna be the first one to be there for Ochaco. So it's kind of like the reverse of Ochaco being there for Deku when Deku needed someone. Deku's going to be there for Ochaco, and they're going to have a special moment together, and they're going to have like a connection that kind of hints like them finally becoming a couple. They don't really. And then of course when it comes to the final chapter that the author had to write, it kind of leaves in a moment where it's just like, oh yeah, Deku and Ochaco want to spend a lot of time together, so it's just like they're going to kind of like be together, like in the future in My Hero Academia universe. And I'm very curious to see how they do the finale of My Hero Academia, because let's not forget, the final season is coming out this year, and I know the author and the team that animates it are going to put that scene in there, and I hope to God that they do this right, and they end My Hero Academia confirming that Deku and Ochaco Uraraka will become a couple, because there have been many, many clues that they will end up together, and it's about time that they actually confirm it.